Hi, in this class we'll discuss about what do you mean by octave identification in music. So let us dive into this topic. Here in this octave identification, so we have to understand that there are many ways for a representation of a octave identification. So when you read the music sheet, so the music sheet will be represented in many forms. Okay, so in these forms actually the most common thing that we can observe here is there are three methods here. So that is the International Acoustic Society recommendation method, then Helmholtz method since 19th century. Okay, and sometimes what we do is based on replication of any traditional instruments like for example Veena or else Sitar or else sometimes oud also, okay, oud, etc, etc. So you want to represent in the form of a music sheet what you want to play, so that also will be done in different way. Okay, so that's all those things we'll be looking at here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go in a section by section. So let us dive into the first point here. So first one is this octave identification by International Society Acoustic Society method, recommendation method. So what in this method it states is that here, so whenever you are playing a piano or a keyboard, okay, so you have to divide this one into equal segments. Okay, so what is your middle C? Okay, that middle C has to be in this place. So the middle C is basically here in this place here. This is your middle C. Okay, so remember here what we are dealing is, here we are dealing with both a G clef and also F clef. Okay, so we are dealing with two clefs here. Okay, so or else I'll write here this is a treble and this is bass. This is a bass music. So here first of all what we are doing is, so since this is a normally this piano key is a 88 keys, okay, so because this contains both C8 is there, at the same time here you can see there is a A0 key also there. Okay, so it is having a very lowest frequency which is a 27.5 somewhere. So at the same time this also has a very high frequency here. Okay, 60 C8 is also there. Okay, so for this, so what we can do is, so we are going to divide this into two parts. So here, so this is the first octave. Okay, this seventh octave. So C1, C6, C2, C5, C3, and you can observe here this is the middle octave. Okay, so the middle octave is the octave, this one C4, okay, C4 and B4. So here this middle octave where it is going to start, that can be either represented in the treble or G clef. At the same time it can be represented either in the F clef or else in a bass staff. Okay, bass staff. So any one of this place, anywhere you can represent. Okay, so if I don't want to represent here in the G clef, I can also do it one way, that is here I can draw one line here and then I can represent it here and there, or which is a ledger line. Okay, and then I can represent it on the F clef also. Okay, so this represents that here. So either if it's a key is here or key is here, the tone value is same. So like this we represent, and so whatever the keys are above here, that is we will be writing from this type, from here to upward direction, and whatever the keys are which has a low tones, so that is a lower frequency, that frequency will be writing down in this fashion. Okay, so this is one way, and so this is basically International Acoustic Society method. So the same way, okay, for example, same way what we can do is we can actually deal this one. For example, maybe you have something like some 66 keys, okay, or else only the 41 keys, okay, or else only the 25 keys. Okay, so something like this, or 25 keys. So like this, if you have, then you also can divide this section. So when you are representing this this sheet here, you also can divide this octaves into that many. So exactly like this, as I shown you here just before, that 8 octave like this. So same thing what you can do is, for example, if it is 66 keys, okay, so the middle octave will not be this like a C4, okay, it will not be like this. So instead the middle octave will be C3 here, okay. So this is a 12 keys, 12 keys, right? So there are some 12 keys here, 12 keys, 12 keys, 12 keys, 12 keys, and 12 keys, and this one, okay. So and 161, okay, 61, 66, okay, yeah. So for finally like this, it will be here, okay. So or else maybe C7 also can be there, okay, or else C7 also can be there. So but it will not have a extra one here, okay. So or else 72 key method is also there, 72 key piano also generally you will be watching. So 72 keys keyboard is also generally available in the market. So what is the main essence of this is that how you have to identify the middle octave, that is important here, okay. So sometimes what you can do is when you look at some digital audio workstations, okay, so digital audio workstations, the middle traditionally written C4 is not the C4 where in a digital audio workstations, okay. So C3 is basically for them by default it will be C3 as a middle octave, okay. So what you have to do is you need to change these settings, and then you need to shift from C3 to C4 when you are playing it. So if you are going to include a grand piano, so you have to do like that. So when you want to include a grand piano sound here, okay, please keep this point in mind. Then one more thing here, the next one is Helmholtz method. So in case of a Helmholtz method, okay, so here in case of this method, Helmholtz method. So what this Helmholtz method is that since it has been in 19th century, so this mid octave, okay, so this mid octave is normally called as a this C1, or called as a here. So this is a small, then this is called as a great, then this is called as a contra, okay. So yeah, I think this is called as a contra. So this is called as a subcontra. First I'll write from the bottom, subcontra. So this is called as a contra, great, small, okay. So this one is called as a one line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, and 5 line method. Okay, so 5 line will come, okay. So you cannot call it as a C8, C7 like this. So you should be calling in a different fashion. So what would happen here is, so I would give you one simple diagram here. So in this diagram, if you observe, so there is a small c here, small c is here, okay, and c on 1, okay. So one line C actually having a C prime method, okay. One line is C is having on the power it has one line, okay. Here C has 2 power lines, 2 lines here. Power on the power it has 3 power lines, okay. Like this it have 5 power lines. So like this, okay. So this is a small c, and this capital letter C is called as a great C, okay. And subscript of C, subscript 1 or comma is represented as a contra, and again like this C double line is called as a subcontra. So you will not have that much lower values. So contra value is the first one, okay. So so one way also that we can represent. So a double A, okay, double A, triple A, like this. Okay, so this way also we can represent. So these are the things related to how you have to do. So ultimately, so the outcome of this, the way you have to identify this octave is very, very simple. So first you identify what is the maximum highest tone. Okay, identify the high tone in that instrument. Okay, so first you identify the high tone. Okay, and also you identify what is the low tone. Okay, what is the how much amount of a low tone that you can actually possibly understand here. Okay, so low tone. Okay, so that is how much here, low tone pitch. Okay, then that low tone will come here and the high tone will come here, and the middle octave will be, so from here you just identify what is the middle octave, the middle octave, and from the middle octave you identify this, what is the C and what is the B values. Okay, so this you have to identify, and then this goes, this middle octave is this goes here as a, this point called as a C4. So that way we will find out. Okay, say for example I'll show one method. So normally, for example, say for example here, this is one case. Say I need to play some instrument here. Okay, so what I'll be doing is, so I'll be using a piano itself, or else I'll be using the same instrument, the Veena itself. Okay, so when I want to play this Veena, so normally what we have to do is, so if it is a piano, our job is very, very simple. We know the tones of the piano. But here in this instrument, so this tuning is different. Okay, for example, this Carnatic instrument here. Okay, so Carnatic music instrument. Say here in this case, this one is you wanted to identify what is how to represent this Veena instrument in the sheet here. So that what you will do is, so how to do this one is, here we know that in this string this string has, and this instrument has 7 strings. 7 strings. Okay, so these 7 strings is can be, not all 7 strings are being played here. So 3 strings are used for rhythm. Okay, and these 4 strings are used for leading. Okay, and in this lead instrument also, among this 4 strings also, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here this open string, this is the open string. So open string is G or else G sharp, or else G sharp, G or else A flat. Okay, so for this open string, the second string, this is the first one, and this is the second string. The second string is going to be D or else D sharp or else E flat, D or else E flat here. Okay, so then like this, the same thing here also. This is but in a, as you go from this direction to 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be a G, where is going to be lower octave. Say for example, this is going to be a G4, this is going to be a G5, okay, or else a G sharp 5, okay, something else. So we can easily identify what are the strings here. So based upon that, actually where we have to put it here is, so we wanted, so here in this for example, in this Carnatic music instrument, string instrument Veena, so here the lead itself will start from G5 or G4. Okay, so what we'll do is, so G is basically here the octave, so we will start with G as a middle octave. Okay, likewise if you look at this Hindustani musical instrument here, which is one here, which is called as a Sitar, where in this instrument there are totally 16 to 18 strings. Okay, so 16 to 18 strings. Not all strings are used for lead. Okay, so they usually for lead generally only 2 strings maximum. Okay, in this 2 strings also, so one string is very lower octave, which is a base value, okay, and another string is a lead, okay. So mostly we'll be using a first string, okay. So rest of the strings are actually, so it gives a enhancement, so it gives the quality of the sound here. So that also will be played along when you are playing with this. So that in this there are so many strings here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So totally 7 strings will be here. Totally 7 strings. So in this first string, the open string is F sharp. Okay, and so the octave starts at C sharp. Okay, so we have to start with the C sharp here, not with the C4. Okay, so we need to start with the C sharp. So this C sharp is usually the value is somewhere around C4 itself, C sharp 4 itself. Okay, so that's what the mid octave for this instrument here. Okay, so when you want to use this this instrument and then represent the sheet here, so we have to use in this fashion. Okay, then remember that actually there are some other things. So tonal values, everything will be different. So if you could recall the previous class when I said, so there are some 22 shrutis. Okay, so to represent 22 shrutis, so the notations, everything will come different. Okay, that I'll be explaining in the coming up class. So but right now what we are dealing is, we are dealing just only this just definition point of view, where we are talking about octave identification. So in this octave identification, so basically we have 3 methods. That is the international method, Helmholtz method, and some, if you want to represent some traditional instrument, so if you want to replicate it on the piano and then play the same sound on the piano, and then you want to know the note sheet and then read accordingly, so that also method is that just before we have discussed here. So these are the things related to octave identification. I hope you understood. We will meet again in the next video. So till then, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel, and please press the bell icon and like it and share it. Bye.